bara ñilla domoro ka diaten
boy janno sikes restaurant
e say nakko be ni na dimbal nimbe domoro kala janno
domoro seneyata adiyata topotoro fanan kendema bije luntan during tamala abeka domoro ki janni adi manda wala de te ka we bijele anim fanan ka fadi jang ikono e fa e ka fa minne ko pastry anim bakery iko fanan be kalele badde lomba conference lomba workshop lomba ye fo fendin lon dunya kono domoro betama ñillom international o tewoda number 1
amanke ba domo la jandama
e sa domo jang is atariya
wo mu kubandi
sa nakko sa futandin
e oto sa nakko be mu sikes restaurant
ndafa na janna mu yat ni manje dorom bijam
aban
CK's Restaurant, known for best quality food and customer satisfaction.
diwli lanni maaro lanni
fop lanni
awa joni mi anda honno gerde ten e ngal ɗo sabu e ngal ɗo ibrahima jonnal taw joni mi anda se yahay kapitiki ñawloɗen ha humpodire e makko est ce que on noon e warude
waɗen no awa
ane ko de ibrahima ma kon to woni
mimo amérique
ko amérique a woni kede humpitaki fiɓe musidɓe men
balu o
ɓe andanɗa kala ko wawɗa wonde e aduna o si a rewi e juuɗe maɓɓe a jonnay ɗo dépassement o gambia hara no weeɓi a yahata kadi taw ko mbuɗi ɗi no ƴawi walla no jippi ɓe haalantama ko kala ko falɗa ko sengo ñamete ili nebba maaro basal pomme de terre kala ko rewi ɗon a hendoto hara no weeɓi kadi wona ɗum ɗon tu ɓe jonnira e mobile phone siko ɗum kadi laptop kala ko wayrode ɗi ɓe hay kasbawa ɓe wawma jonnude kadi sa fala humpitade ko weeɓi ƴettu google account ma on joni data ton waɗa download app maɓɓe on ayiyay kala ko humpima e maɓɓe ton ɓe weeɓiyama
ka wonɗa wo e aduna on
kala ko wawɗa
a jonnanayi wonɗo ka leydi men gambia ɗo dépense
hara no weeɓi ha ma si ɗum non fof no neeɓi immoɗen joni mi ɗowtama ka place maɓɓe janno
waɗen joni
yiya heɓa ko falaɗa
waɗen kisam
When we touch down, better broke down.
With Gamtel G-Fiber, now you can enjoy super fast internet in gigabytes. G-Fiber is affordable, stable, secured, and accessible to homes, businesses, and enterprises. With Gamtel G-Fiber, the future is speed. Gamtel, creating a brighter future in communication.
So she became mine and see that.
In communication, connectivity is everything. We ensure that the links never sleep. Quantities and qualities, all in our data service, providing efficient, reliable voice and data service. We believe if you're not up to speed, then you're going backwards. Communications have to flow as fast as the speed of light. Whatever business you're in, having someone who understands your needs is critical. That is why we just don't offer you technology, we offer you solutions. Enjoy Gamcel's internet broadband anytime, anywhere. Your national operator, Gamcel, Yaibaram.
agada
ke mbijan raga nyaade
albaka
mbaka important
yo nga transfer la sto
ya transfer la
ha code nyinji
okay nsila id soto
sa so sorry agada
mbijan bro
albaka
mbaka
bara alla service o tariya
mbare
ki janna nun kunu bara tariya
jannom yona forest de bureau Gambia tonkon na no mbari ya bere birin koyna fo kato
bari si kodo kino kato nim fo bolong labe
56 branches mola sota Gambia jang
ha
Gambia kono ani Gambia bantala bankol nka kodo kiya bere kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta même na kodi to poto nin kodi maro jannam number 1 ti nyonta andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi mani domorol dir fana beteat Gambia dawda yalo ma kum fa kendol sotale je
wo moyo diat
apelen da
barka ba ni lafta nyelan kendol e binaji
yalo bu kanyi la ko la barka ba
yalo ndel chosa
President
Consideration stage, Access to Information Bill 2019.
There are two, mutual legal.
Yes, and the Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters Bill 2019.
Thank you. Honorable members will recall that the Select Committee on Education, Training and ICT and the Standing Committee on Human Rights and Constitutional Matters have reported on the bills committed to them, respectively. That is the Access to Information Bill 2019 and the Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters Bill 2019. The reports of the committees were adopted, and accordingly the consideration stage for the two said bills was scheduled for today. Now, during the consideration stage, honorable members will have the opportunity to give detailed consideration and scrutiny to every clause and schedule in the said bills. This stage also provides the first opportunity for amendments to the bill to be debated and voted on. I will now therefore resolve the Assembly into Committee of the Whole Assembly to give consideration to the two bills, that is the Access to Information Bill 2019 and the Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters Bill 2019. The Assembly now resolves into Committee of the Whole Assembly. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, honorable members. Please, can we have one session? Thank you. Thank you. One session, please. Thank you. Consideration stage, Committee of the Whole Assembly. The Assembly now goes into the Committee of the Whole Assembly to consider the Access to Information Bill 2019 and the Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters Bill 2019, clause by clause. We will also be guided by the committee's report on the bill and clause 72 of the standing orders during the consideration stage. We'll start with the access to information. Are we agreeable? We start with the access to information, yeah. Yes, very well. Where's the bill? Do you have your bills? Everybody has a copy? Okay. The correct version is the one with the red line. Thank you. Clark? Yes, Clark.
Access to Information Bill 2019. Preliminary.
What's the suggestion? We go part by part, clause by clause?
Part by part.
Part by part. I think the lunch was very nice, huh? Okay, part by part then. Part one.
Okay, Access to Information Bill 2020.
Sorry, hold on.
I want to make an observation before we start. Madam Speaker, this is access to information. It's access to information. Now, but if you look at it in our context, who is accessing this information? The language in which it is accessible to what percentage of the population in this country? Now we are talking about access to information in this country. This, what it contains, is made available to only those who can speak the language in which it is. But now we are concerned about making information accessible to the Gambian people. There is nothing here in this document which gives that possibility. So my question is, what are we going to do to inject that into this? Because this is going to become an act. And we are interested in making information accessible to the Gambian people. So it means that if we limit ourselves to what it is in this document, we are defeating the purpose, because this is going to be an infinitesimal fraction of the population of this country. So that is my question. So my suggestion is, I don't know where, in which clause, which position we are going to inject into it, but we must create a possibility for other people in this country to have access to that information. Because there are many ways. There are many people in this country who have been rendered literate in their own languages, but there is no possibility of creating the means for those people to access information through those media. Like if a Fuller wants to access information, he or she can read in Fuller. Is there any possibility for that Fuller person? Huh? You allow me to sit down. Thank you. All right, now, thank you very much. I don't want you to be... My suggestion is, while we are going through it, we may find a fitting place where we can inject some of the propositions that we'll have in our head when we reach there.
Purpose. And that's the purpose. That's why we're here. So we'll take the input from various quarters from honorable members. Yes, I'm coming, Basse. I know your concern. Yourself and him say it's the what do you local languages. I'm sure that was a consultation. So I'll give you the floor.
Okay.
Yes,
anyway, Madam Speaker, thank you very much. Madam Chair. Madam Chair, thank you very much. What the member for Woolly West has raised is very important because we say access to information. Information, the person accessing the information is that person who needs information. And the medium of communication here is very important. I will just want to propose to the member of Woolly West in his expertise as a language technician. If you come to clause 21, I think we'll see the provision is there. We will try to see how you're going to deal with clause 21 so that his concern and my concern will be taken off.
I thought you announced mutual assistance first. You said we deal with that one first.
Banjul South.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, when we looked at the committee's report on this bill, we made some recommendations, and we are yet to see the new report, and I think that will help us in our deliberations because I still have the old one. And I think we need to see the revised one so that we can work alongside the revised report.
Understand that the report we have is not so-called revised. It's the one that was tabled by the committee. I think that's the one I have.
Yes, it was tabled, but we made some recommendations.
Somebody, you removed it. Okay. It was tabled. Your microphone?
It was tabled, but we made some recommendations, and I was expecting the additions to be distributed, the report to be revised and distributed, because as far as I know, I still have the old one.
Call the Vice Chair to clarify, but I did indicate in my communication that we'll be guided by the report, and that's where I expect that the amendments or the proposals that were made would be incorporated. But probably in hindsight, it would have been needed to have it incorporated and a new, fresh document presented, but that's not my rule. Let me allow the Vice Chair to explain.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think she's quite right about some of the recommendations, but what we also did agree is the fact that when we come to the committee of the whole house, then we can bring it forward and then we agree and move on. Because that will be easier. For example, on the fines, we proposed 250,000 for a fine for somebody refusing to give out a report. Others said that is too high. Then we said, okay, when we come to the committee of the whole house, then we can agree on an amount, for example. So I think still now, you know, when we get to that particular clause, then we can agree on the amount and then we move on to the next stage. So really, it's going to be difficult to capture everyone's, recommendation, especially on those clauses. So that's the reason why we said, okay, when we get to the floor here, then we can agree on those things and we move on. Thank you.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I just have Madam Chair, I just have a concern as raised by the honourable member for Woolly West, about what he is requesting, and I just don't want us to put ourselves in a position whereby we take one step forward and 3 steps back in trying to enact this bill. The reason why I'm saying that, the Section 21 is very specific. Informations that people would need access to are kept in a certain format. Now, if we want not to make this a burden on the provider of these informations, to make sure that they are available in other dialects or languages, we have to make sure that they have the infrastructure to do that. And we have to provide that in this act, because then that would be a burden we are passing on that we cannot actually substantiate. So it's a concern. And as lawmakers, in as much as we want to actually make a law that is that addresses everybody's needs, we have to be also mindful of the constraints we face as a reality. That's my only concern, and I think we can actually look into that.
Chair, I've read through this thing, but what is there is that information in which, how it is taught is how it's going to be given. If you request for information and that information is in English, they are going to give it to you in English. If it is in another language, they will give it to you in, however they store it, that's how they are going to provide it. That's what is here. I can remember because I read everything.
Yeah, but I would also suggest that since the decision is for us to go part by part, let us go when we come to the relevant part or the relevant clause in a part, then it will be open to debate, and then we'll have the what is it called? The suggestions, amendments, proposals, or whatever. Otherwise, it seems as if we're debating the whole bill now and not coming to the specific parts. I think it's neater if we go to the parts. So can we start with part 1? Sorry, Clark.
Part 1, preliminary.
It is proposed that part 1, preliminary, stands part of the bill. Those in favor? Any observations on the part? Yes. Okay, let's take the observations and then the chair can respond.
So I'm just asking whether yes, well, even before the part, the bill entitled, we have 2019 here. Is that what we are going to maintain, or are we going to make it 2020? Yes, but what we have to do is to change that there. 2020, yeah.
Essence. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
On part 1.
Yes, on part 1. On the definition, what in the requester, currently it says means a person who requests access to information under this act, or any person acting on behalf of the person requesting. In our recommendations, we recommended that group or institutions be added. Instead of a person like.
Can you refer also the page on your on your report?
Page 4. Page.
No, it's still part of what? Part 1.
Huh?
It's still part 1.
No, we have part 1.
It's part of part 1.
It's part of part 1. Requester, the different requester.
Maybe you did not go through your documents before coming.
That's the interpretation. That's the interpretation section on part 1.
It's on page 4. Mm-hmm. Are we together on part 1? Preliminary, honorable members. Members, actually considering the fact that this is a very important piece of legislation, I would suggest that we go clause by clause. If you look here, if you look at part 1 takes us right up to page 6. And I think it's better if we go clause by clause so that we will have an opportunity to go through it thoroughly. Yes. What do you say? We are agreeable, so we go by clause. Pardon? No. No, it's okay. It's okay. Start with clause 1, the short title.
Short title. Short title, clause 1.
Good. Thank you very much. It is proposed that clause 1, short title, stand part of the bill. As amended. 2019 should read 2020. As amended, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. Thank you.
Clause 2, interpretation.
It is proposed that clause 2, interpretation, stands part of the bill. Yes, Honorable Member for Jimara.
Thank you very much, Honorable
We'll take
Chair.
the issues on clause 2.
Yes, interpretation, I am suggesting to include language at the definition. We define language. I think it will help us. Yes. Yes, to include language under the definitions. Exactly, yes, to interpret it. Exactly, yes.
Honorable Member for Bath.
Noted. Thank you very much. What the member has just raised, it is important that we interpret language here. If we say language, in which language in the sense of as medium of communication, as the member for Woolly West mentioned, we have national languages here. We have also other languages here that are taught in this country. The requester, the language of the requester, the language of the provider, the language in which the information is being kept. There is a need for interpretation so that if you go to clause 21, the work will be easier for us. Thank you.
Oh, he has the proposal. Well, he did not raise his tag, so. No, but somebody just suggested here that he is proposing that we have a language under interpretation. So you can discuss, consult, and then come up with something under interpretation.
Just a minute.
Yes, you can do your consultations.
Yes, thank you. I was just trying to remind ourselves about the official language. The official language of the Gambia is actually English. And if you look at the public bodies that we are referring to as far as this is concerned, we all know the information actually is taught in only one language, which is the English language, and that is the official language we have. Even in the National Assembly here, I think when you look at the Constitution, it tells you clearly we can define another language through an act of parliament, which we are yet to do. So officially, this is the only language we have is the English language. So that's my...
In the meantime, you do your...
Thank you. Madam Chair, when we say commission, it says it means the Information Commission established under Section 41. Do I leave it until we get to Section 41? Because we need to know what the commission is, because this thing is very complex. Access to information is very complex. Like he said, access to whom it's going or from whom it is coming. Because access to information and data is a continuous process. And we need to make sure that it has a standalone commission. Because when it was debated here, people were debating whether it goes to a specific, whether it goes to the Human Rights Commission, but I still maintain my position from last week that this is a complex and it carries a heavy burden. So we must make sure that it has a completely stand-alone commission. And I think, I don't know whether I need to leave it until we get to section 41, or whether we need to. Okay.
And you can always cross-reference with previous clauses that have been dealt with. Otherwise, somebody else will jump to clause 47.
No, because it is
then we come
here,
to 21, then to 18. It will not be coherent. Let us go in a coherent manner, and then Lower Salum.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I concur with my honorable member for Lower Salum, Upper Salum, sorry. As we are going, we are guided by the Constitution here. And again, it's only English language that is mentioned in the Constitution here. So which local language that we are going to insert? Because you cannot insert all of them. And the medium ones, there are others who can speak Mandinka and others cannot speak Wolof. So we cannot pick and choose here. I think the better thing here is we put English language. I think it will be more suit for this longer. I think.
Views, Ilyasa.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Although I have agreed with Upper Salum, but what I'm saying that people we are representing, 90% of them they can't speak English. That's why we are even productive. Because the people we are representing, over 90% of them they can't speak English. So therefore, at least what I'm saying that we start to insert either Mandinka or Wolof and national languages. So that at least we'll be able to communicate our people. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Constitution is the supreme law of the country. There is no act of parliament that can come and contradict or contravene the Constitution. And the Constitution is saying clearly that the official language of the Gambia is English language. And let's not complicate this any further. You don't have the infrastructure to make all the languages in the country have access to the one information. And we want to make this institution the UTBRS. We don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the capacity. So let's, our constitution is in English, but it affects everybody. If you want the section 1 of the constitution to be interpreted to you in your language, it can be. But that's not the duty of printers or custodians of the constitution to make that available to you. So I think we are just actually trying to complicate the matters. This is simple, straightforward, and I'm not finished, sorry. This is a starting point. We can come up with amendments as we go on, but as we stand now, if we want to stuck to this issue we'll be here forever, and we will not be able to actually make headway.
You, Joshua?
Yeah,
sorry, Joshua.
Yes. Honorable Speaker, I'm in support of what the Honorable Member for Upper Fuladu has just said. I don't even understand what we want to insert here. For example, if we say, if the requester goes for information, I request and I get it in Mandinka, somebody requests and he gets it in Jola. What burden do we, don't you think that that's so cumbersome for the institution that is going to provide that information? It is my responsibility. If I want it's English. If I want to translate it in Manjago, I go and find somebody who translates it in Manjago. It should not be an extra cost to the government. Let's be more practical. I know they are very, very enthusiastic in getting local languages spoken, maybe especially here. But how practical is that?
Dora, I'll come back to you, but I've given you very chance twice. Yes, it's everybody's concern. Please, Kantora.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. I think if you gauge the mindset of people in this House Assembly, you can see that majority are really supporting for us not to really complicate the issue of putting it as a legislation. There's one thing to put a legislation, also there's another thing also to look at the implementation process. When we inside this local language now, do we have the facilities on ground to do that? When we also inside this, do you have the infrastructure on ground? And this issue of putting this local language now, I think it should be the responsibility of the requester, that if once you have this thing, you can really sound for interpreters, look for interpreters to interpret for you, but not necessarily, the constitution is even written in English. This act we are passing is an English version. So I don't know. I think it's about parliament are majority, and when majority really go for a particular viewpoint, let's support it.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much.
Yeah,
I will just take where a member for Kantora have just stopped. Honorable Speaker, we are here, we are enacting laws. And we are not enacting laws through our local languages. Are we going to set a precedent? Nationally, we do all our legislations are legislated through our official language, that is the English language. So the moment we start here legislating now, putting in local article our local languages, we are setting a precedent. And I think this House should avoid setting a precedent. That's something that we cannot continue tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I think when we are making laws, we want to make laws that we know that it will proceed. Because I know, of course, if we want to make this here, it will proceed, because there is the line of communication of government and government institutions is purely English. We know that. So why this only will be exceptional to go for local languages? And now when we put in local language, it cannot go, because there is no chain of communication between government and government institutions in local languages. So you cannot provide that information in local language for the people, for the requester. So I think I concur with people who said, I think we go for the English language.
Can I clarify? Yes, let's take Sabasanjal first.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Mine is just an observation. I think we debated on this particular bill. And I think during the debate, everybody expressed your mind. We are on the consideration stage. And if we should open another debate, how can we go? I think if we are talking about language, we should start from the parliament, because we communicate through English to our people. And the constitution obliges us to enact a law that would grant us the leave to speak in our own local language. We don't do that. Why are we coming to this bill and say we are going to insert this local language? So we should start from there before starting, taking the laws into those complications. I think, for me, it's good as it is, and let us go and consider this thing as you propose, clause by clause, so that we can go further ahead.
Let's all give others a chance as well. Bilkama South, thank you.
No, thank you so much, Madam Chair. I think the intention of this bill is to allow the flow of information and accessibility to information, which is very key. But we have to look at one thing that is very, very important. That is the implementation of this particular bill when it is fully enacted. Considering the local languages in this will become completely impossible for us to implement this thing, because the providers of the information, almost all the information are stored in English language. So putting them that burden on them is going to be another problem. So therefore, let's maintain this. If we go further, if the capacity of the country is there, we can look at the introduction of the local languages. But as of now, we are good to go.
Honorable Member Banjul South.
I think, Madam Speaker, they've already said, because at the National Assembly, it says that we speak English plus any other language that is approved by the National Assembly. So for now, I think any laws that we make, obviously, they will have to be in the language that we express ourselves in at the National Assembly until we pass a bill to introduce another language. So I think we should proceed with the English language for now and move on. Thank you.
Fully West. I'm very surprised to hear what I'm hearing from members of the National Assembly. Independent Gambia, representatives of the people of the Gambia are speaking the way you are speaking. You are as oppressive as the English people who impose this language on you. Let me finish. I've listened to you, please listen, let me clarify. First, there is a misconception of what I said. I said we are talking about accessibility of information in this country. I said, how are you going to take into account those who don't speak English? How are you going to make effort to make information accessible to the people of the Gambia? That's my question. Not language which is speaking here or what. The official language, of course, yes. Because this is what is making us all slaves. Incapable of even writing your own languages. You are not even ashamed of that. No, but madam, the issue is, I withdraw that, but let me just say, yes, I withdraw that, but let me just say, the issue is not all that they are saying. My question has not been answered, and those who brought this bill here are here. The technicians are here. I am saying, is it wrong? Am I wrong to ask the question, how are you going to make information accessible to the Gambian people? Is that wrong? But because the information is going to be in English. And who speaks English in the Gambia? You want to tell me that people don't have a right to the information, access to information? That's my question. How are we going to make that possible? Because we are not talking about you and I. Only those who speak English. We are saying information dissemination in the Gambia. How is it going to take place? To what means? That's my question.
I think what we should do, or what we should try to do, is let us take the issues and then we allow the Honorable Minister to respond. Now you have a question, he can then respond to the question. Somebody else has also raised concerns about sustainability, is it? And the infrastructure, whatever, put in place to make sure that the information can be accessed in the local languages. After everything is gathered, then the Honorable Minister, with the help of his team, can respond, and then we'll come to terms. But we cannot be quarreling. I think let us not be quarreling. Honorable Member for Woolly East.
Yes, Chair. You know, the language issue is, if you look at page 21, or clause 21, what is there is that the information shall be provided to the requester in the language it is kept. So if you are seeking for an information which is in Wolof, it will be given to you in Wolof. If it is in a cassette, we have to, it's not only written documents, it's also cassettes, it's also electronic form. There are many forms where the information is. And this is also not information that we are going to disseminate to the whole country. It is the part you request and you are giving. So if you make request, the language it is kept or the form it is kept, they give it to you in that form. I think that is very simple. I think that answers our problem.
Honorable Chair.
Basi. Madam Speaker, section clause 26(2). Can I refer all of you to clause 26(2)? I can sit, lie, I can stand. That's the standing order. Clause 26(2). Committee said the chairperson. At the committee said the speaker is the chairperson. The standing order clause 2. Can somebody read the standing order clause 2 for me? I don't have it with me. Clause 2. Standing order clause 2. No? Yeah, you can, please.
Shall be elected by the members of the assembly from among the clause 2. You said clause 2. You said clause 2. Well, 26, there you go. All right, for 26.2 says a member shall speak standing and shall address his or her observations to the speaker or the chairperson, subject to the approval of the speaker or the chairperson. A member unable to it's okay.
But the chairperson has allowed you to take your seat. Yes, please, be seated. Yes, I know.
Speaker, Madam Chair, thank you very much. I think if you are making laws, let's make law for generations. Let us be very careful, analyze situation in their own context. The issue of national languages here, I know in the near future, Gambia will be like Rwanda. Rwanda, their constitution, the original constitution is in Rwandi. That's the national language. That's the original constitution. And all the taxes, all the policies are in national languages. Are you not thinking in that context? Do we think we are going to remain as we are? And some people who are asking for capacities, can we ensure development without capacity? Development goes with capacity. So therefore, if the provision is there, obviously capacity development will come. So we are thinking for generations, not for us. This issue of national languages, let us think of it, not only for us, but for generations. So what we are proposing, if you go to section 21, the member for Woolly West will read the proposed amendment. And the proposed amendment, if we cannot have it in clause 21, if you don't interpret language at the interpretation page. So therefore, that's why we are calling the attention. Who are saying that English is the official language? Yes, but in this context, we are talking about access to information. And the information is through what? A medium of communication. English is a medium of communication. Mandinka is a medium of communication. Like other national languages are medium of communication. So you are giving information or you are taking information for the purpose of communication. That's what we are calling the attention of members on.
I get you right. You referred or you mentioned section 21.
I say clause
21. Sorry, clause 21.
Yes.
But we haven't come to clause 21 yet. Supposing we interpret clause 21 here or insert it, and then you take a vote and it's not carried. So why don't we wait until we get to? I am mindful of what Honorable Woolly West said, that at the appropriate time, the amendment will come in. And then there's nothing, I stand to be correct there, stopping us from coming back to interpretation to interpret it. But if it is agreeable, but if we jump to clause 21,
we are going to agree. We are going to agree. That is going to be done in English or any other national language. That's our proposal.
No.
So therefore, at the interpretation, if you don't interpret it in this way, if you go there, you'll find the challenges.
No, but there have been instances here when we even suspended, like the interpretation section. We'll suspend it and then we'll come back to it after dealing with clause 21, so that you can cross-reference it. Agree? Good. Thank you. I think, sorry.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Yes. What I was trying to be mindful is that in terms of bringing language as interpretation now, how do you intend to interpret it? And which medium of communication? The question is, how do you have access to information? And the member cite a particular clause, it's 26 or 21? 21, that information shall be given to you, provided to you, based on the language it is kept or stored. So I think that really has addressed the issue of if it's about access to information, what you requested, the context or the language is kept will be provided to you based on the provision now. And it is now up to you if you want to make sure that your audience or your people to understand language, you interpret.
Vice Chair, that let us not belabor the point and we move ahead. Let's move forward. You can always come back to the interpretation when a decision is taken on clause 21. Vice Chair, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I think when you look at the interpretation on information, I think it's not a blanket definition. It's very specific on the information because it says information includes any original or copy of documentary material irrespective of its physical characteristics, such as records, correspondence, fact, opinion, advice, memorandum, data, statistics, book, drawing, plan, map, you know, regardless of the form or medium in which it is held. You know, so whatever kind of form that information is stored, that is the only way that you can be given that information. Now, the request, the one providing the information is not obliged to convert for you to any language or to any other form. The way it's stored in them, for example, if you make a request at Radio Gambia, for example, of news that was broadcast a few months ago, however it was stored in their system at GRT, for example, that is the same form that is going to be given to you. That's all this thing is trying to say. So if it is in Wolof you were requesting, it's going to be given to you on that. If it is Mandinka it was stored in, it's going to be Mandinka, it will be given to you. If it is Jola, it's the same thing. So I think we are trying to, I don't know, belabor too much on something that, you know, it's very clear. And I think as we go into the bill, you will see exactly, it's trying to make it really very clear and very clear as we go in. Thank you.
For me, I think we can proceed clause by clause. Let's deal with the interpretation.
Clause 2, interpretation.
No, I think we said we are suspending the interpretation until we agree on 21 and then we come back.
Clause 3, application.
Clause 2, sorry. Clause 2 of the bill is suspended and we'll refer to it later. We'll come back actually to it later. Yes. Clause
3, application.
It is proposed that clause 3, application, stands part of the bill. Can you read it, please, before we put the question? Any issues on clause 3? No? Yes, mind yourself.
Madam Speaker, again, it says this act should apply to A, shall apply to all, A, public bodies, B, public authorities and non-state bodies which are owned or controlled by the government, C, private organizations or private persons who operate with substantial public funds or benefit directly or indirectly from public funds, or who perform public functions and services using public funds. Madam Speaker, this is quite restrictive because we all know information now flows freely. Everybody can have information. We have seen in the world how people distribute information freely and it can destroy within seconds. So if this is restricted to only these people, tomorrow, if I am not at this parliament, I am not a public figure or related to any of these, I can go and destroy anybody, send out any information, and then it will not be accessible. If I say something about you and I do not fall under this, and it cannot be accessible. And Madam Speaker, also, if I request, it says the application, so it wouldn't apply to me then. So we need to look at the application, because the application should not just be, it's really limited, I would say. And I think we need to protect everybody in this matter. It should be applicable to a wider...
So what are you proposing? Do you have any suggestion in mind?
And we can add to any order as necessary, I think. No, Madam Speaker, this is very restricted. Access to information. No, I'm just saying, he's saying no.
And I asked, do you have any suggestion?
And I made a suggestion, but then he said no. He nodded his head.
No, I didn't.
No, not you, him, Halifa.
Halifa is a technical advisor.
Yeah, he's a technical
he doesn't
advisor,
have a
so
right.
he shouldn't even make any
The vote
signs
will
of
be
suggestion.
amongst honorable members.
But it is
Honorable members
influencing.
decide on that.
Yeah, but his signs would influence certain people, so he should act numb and deaf.
That's not fair. He cannot influence anybody. Honorable member for Woolly East. Yes, sorry.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chair, the Act is talking about public information. Information that is kept with a public body. It cannot be information kept with everybody. So if we want to extend it to everybody, how can we implement that law? Information that is with me at my home, you want to force me to. But this is, when it is with the state, and you request for it, they are saying you should have it, except under exception clause. That's what it is saying. But you cannot extend it to everywhere. It's not possible.
Honorable members, let's just accommodate each other. Now look at our page. Look at the long title. Under a bill entitled, it will be my page 3. I'm sure your page 3 as well. An act to provide for the right to access public records. The right to access public records and information held by public authorities or by persons providing services for them, or provide for the procedure to obtain access to that information and for connected purposes. And I think let me allow the Honorable Attorney General and team to defend themselves. Also look at the objects. Now look at the objects. Look at the objects again. Let's read the objects together. When proposals are made, we all read together. So when somebody also makes a proposal, let's read it together so that we'll try to make sense out of it. The essence of the exercise is to get the best. Now the objects and reasons, this bill seeks to provide the framework for ordinary Gambians to access public records and information held by public authorities or by persons providing services for them, to provide for the procedure to obtain access to that information. In line with international standards, the bill also provides necessary exceptions to the right of access that should be limited and specific. Thus, the bill inter alia protects the privacy of individuals with respect to personal information about themselves held by public bodies, medical records, and communication with legal practitioners, as well as security-sensitive information necessary for law enforcement and the defense of the state. The bill provides for the setting up of an independent commission to ensure that decisions on the disclosure of government information should be reviewed independently. Yes, Cantora?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. You see, the members should really appreciate this particular application. It has to be restrictive in nature because these are sensitive information, sometimes cannot disclose in public. And if information are not really managed, government operates in tacit. And you cannot just give this thing to everybody to be in possession with. These are people's privacy, these are all very, very classified, highly classified information. Sometimes. So basically, I think the information, the institutions who are
operating under the dictates of public institution should be only allowed to be given, not everybody to be in possession in this particular information. I think it's okay like this.
We're still on application clause 3. Yes, Woolly West.
I'm suggesting 2 minor corrections in clause C. I'm suggesting 2 minor corrections in clause C. Private organizations or private persons who operate, not who operates. S should be out. And then the last line also, public fund or who perform and not who performs. S should be out.
Yes, you know, on the bill, it has already defined public body. Who or what is actually a public body? You know, it's saying it's the one that is established under the Constitution, also established by statute. So I think it's really very clear who this particular public body is actually referring to. If you go to the, even though we skip the interpretation, but when you go back to the interpretation of this act, it clearly tells you what is actually meant by public body in this context. And I think it's really very clear here.
Madam Speaker, I still, even after reading the long title, I will still maintain that because we have seen from experience how people divert public, so-called public funds and use other people. And if they are excluded, Madam Speaker, how are we going to get information from them? Because the law is protecting them. I think when we make laws, we should make sure that we try to minimize fraud. We try to avoid people circumventing around the laws to commit certain crimes. Because we have seen, I don't want to name names here because it will be on record, because we have seen how our leaders, I'm not saying it is happening now, but it happened before, how they use people who are not private people or who are not in public service to enrich themselves. And should we need information, Madam Speaker, as we speak now, there are so many funds that are out there that we cannot trace because they were diverted through private people. And if we exclude them in this, how are we going to get information from them to retrieve what is lost in this country? I think we should be very careful when we make laws. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I just wanted to remind the Honorable Member that we have the anti-corruption bill that is before our committee that she is a part of. And I think when you look at the anti-corruption bill, it really covers the private sector as well. So even if somebody has diverted funds and information is stored somewhere in the private sector, I think the anti-corruption bill will be able to trace that particular person. So.
I was saying that the honorable member's concerns, if she looks at it's there, everything is there. What you are asking for is already there.
Take a vote on your proposed amendment. Yes? Can you read
Honorable Speaker. Yes.
No, not you, Honorable Kanto. No, it's for Banyul Sir.
Yeah, I said it's just a suggestion, but if we think that it is enough and if it's there, it's just something because I've had a look at this thoroughly. Because for me, I believe that access to information is very important. Having looked at what is happening in other places, because if we have this at times, it will just be to just come up with an act. Because at times,
so it is proposed that clause 3, application, stands part of the bill as amended. Yes, as amended, yeah, with the addition of the the deletion of the letters. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. 3.
Clause 4.
Clause 2. Yes, clause 3 as amended now stands part of the bill. Thank you. Proceed.
Clause 4, act to have overriding effect.
Thank you. It is proposed that clause 4, act to have overriding effect, stands part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye.
Madam Chair,
any issues?
We don't have as read.
Pardon?
As read there. Clause 4 is primacy of act. Primacy. Page 6. No, I don't have it.
Honourable Speaker. Chair, it's primacy of act.
Yes.
Yes, he's right. It's read here.
Primacy.
Yeah. It's read as primacy of act.
Primacy of act is what I have.
Yes.
Of the act. Better get me the correct version then.
Hello?
Get me the correct version.
The one with the red cover. The one with the red cover.
That is the old version, but I am positive that you have the new version. You probably
I am happy that I have
left
the
it
old
at
version
home
because
or
I am
at,
old.
No, pigeonhole. Pardon?
Well, I'll be uploading then.
I have a copy, but I will give it to you. I won't let you have it. No, you have your new version. The correct version is with you. Please, can we proceed? Yes.
Table office.
Madam Speaker,
anything on clause 4? Yes.
Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, clause 4, when you go to number 2, I don't think it's correct to say not in this act, but then you can say nothing in this act. Yes, exactly. But then the in is not there. Okay.
Honourable Speaker, I want to ask your table office if they have a copy of this.
We don't have the current version.
Yes.
What do you have?
Any more issues on clause 4? It's after 5 o'clock. Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you, Honourable Speaker. Maybe the technical team can help us here. That's clause 4. Clause 1, it is telling us that it should have overriding effect. And then it reads, the provision of this act shall have effect over anything inconsistent therewith contained in the official secret act. We don't have this official secret act. At least they need to help us. Or the general orders of the Gambia regulation and bylaw of any of the public bodies. For me, I need explanation on this one.
An explanation?
Yeah, exactly.
In addition, you also want copies?
Yeah, because I never see
the various acts.
Yeah, this official secret act.
They're in the laws of the Gambia. You find them even here. If I had access to the laws here, I would have shown them to you, but yes, Manjul Saud. Any issues on 4? No. The Honorable Minister will respond. Yes, sorry. Nominated Member Jete. Clause 4.
I'm just comparing the old law, what is in it, the first draft that was sent, and the new one. And I've observed that the ministry attempted to restrict the overriding effects only on certain laws. And if you look at the first draft, it is saying, apart from the Constitution, this law should have an overriding effect on any other law. But the new draft limited it to only certain laws, which are the Official Secrets Acts, General Orders, Regulations, and Bylaws. What if there are any other laws that exist that contains provisions that are likely to limit access to information and are not named here? How do we...
Procedure.
Yes.
That document was withdrawn, so it's no longer part of the, of the submissions. It's not bad, you know, referring to your notes.
Yeah.
Your need,
okay.
I
would take it as a note. So why was it, or why is the restriction only limited to these laws and not expanded? Save for the Constitution, it will have an overriding effect over any other law that has provisions dealing with access to information, just to avoid the situation where you would have a provision in one law that restricts access to information and it's not covered here, and those people would have the power to rely on it.
Further issues on clause 4?
Madam, I think
yes,
this whole act contains more information than this new one.
I have just indicated to the honorable nominated member that it was withdrawn.
Yes,
it's not part of
yes,
our records anymore.
I could agree to it being withdrawn, but it has more information. But it has.
No, you cannot refer to it. Thank you. These are parliamentary procedures. They are not my rules. Yes, Banjul South.
An information holder or information officer shall not be liable for releasing information in good faith and in accordance. 3. And in accordance with this act. Madam Speaker, you can hold information, and it might be in good faith that you have given it, but then it would also be in accordance with the act. But Madam Speaker, it might be that you might be incriminated. So does that mean that we are tolerating criminals? Because should you give it in good faith and then when it is being investigated, you come out to be part of the, what happens? I think we shouldn't just exonerate. Madam, this bill is very important, and information can destroy within seconds. I think we should be very cautious. We shouldn't just say that shall not. Shall is very, we can say may not. May not be liable. No, shall not.
No, please, it's not a dialogue between the two. Now, can we take it that then you proposing that maybe the team can reframe?
Yeah, may not.
Yes.
Because in that case, you might be, you might not be.
Give them your views and
very
then,
conclusive.
Honorable, please, if you give them your proposals, your suggestions, then they can use the legal language to have it redrafted and reframed. Yes.
Just on the point.
Or her concern. She's raised her concern.
Yeah.
You've noted it? Okay, very well. Yes, nominated member.
Just on the point she raised, I think having a may would negate the intention of the entire bill, because people will not be comfortable giving information if it depends on someone to decide whether they may be guilty of something or not. So I think that negates the entire intention of the bill. I don't think we should consider that.
Madam Chair, can I? But if it's in good faith, then you won't be reluctant. But then just give it in good faith. And if anything happens...
No, who makes the decision whether it's in good faith or not?
Thank you, Madam Kerr. I think I'm also in agreement with the honorable nominated member that the word shall suit this particular clause in the sense that the giver of the information should be protected so that the information given can be very easy and the information would not be kept. Otherwise, if there is the giver is liable to any penalty, and in view of that, he may, in one way or the other, be reluctant to give out the information based on the threat that may be imposed.
Maybe at the end of the day, we'll just have to take a vote on this. Otherwise, we'll just be moving up and down. Honorable Member for Basse, you have anything on subclause 3?
Yes, very short. The moment we up shall, mandatory. So therefore, I think there's no need but to have in good faith. There's no need, just redundance.
Honorable Minister to come in. He's taking your concerns. Or any more concerns, sorry. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Some concerns have been positively responded to already. Probably I'll just add my voice to it. The minority leader's position on official secret acts. I see laws of the Gambia in the box right in front of me here. I believe the National Assembly Service it's not that thick. They can just copy it and make it available. It's in the volumes.
We have 57 members. And
well, in any event, it's part of the laws of the Gambia. I appreciate the fact that you probably might not be aware of it. There are a lot of laws. There are 16 volumes. There are a lot of laws in there that many of us, if you don't have need for them, you hardly don't even know they exist. Not only you, even in the legal fraternity, you have to have a need for it for you to be in touch with them. But there are a lot of legislations there. So the Official Secrets Act is accessible. The National Assembly Service can facilitate that, I repeat, or even though the Speaker doesn't want me to say so. And Madam Jaite's position as to why are we limiting the laws and regulations for which we are going to override by this legislation. I think the team looked at it and realized these are the most relevant ones that needed to be overridden. However, the ones that we are not sure, we said regulations and bylaws of any public body, just to take care of that. But I see your argument, but the experts believe these are the most relevant ones that needed to be overridden. That's my answer to that. The issue of Sal or May by Banjul South, my understanding of what the Honorable Member is trying to do is, her intention is clear, but what he is saying is the opposite of her intention. That is my understanding. She intended to give maximum protection to the giver of the information once you are acting in good faith. But she probably, and you can understand, she is not legal, I believe, but this text as it is offering exactly what you want. All right? Anybody who releases information in good faith will never be held liable for that release as long as the release is in accordance with this act. I believe that's what you intended, unless you can correct me.
Yeah, I think you may understand it to a certain point, but what I'm saying is releasing information is good faith doesn't mean that the information you are releasing is true information. So what I'm saying is you might release the information in good faith, but then it might harm somebody. And then it might turn out that it was released in good faith, but it has done something bad, and then you will not be liable for what you have done.
Okay. Apparently, that looks like the consequences of releasing of the information, which is something else. What the law is saying, as long as the information is properly requested, it is properly released in accordance with law and in good faith, the person releasing cannot be criminally liable. The havoc that is going to be caused by the information, having it been properly released, that's something else. That's not taken care of here. So long as it is information, public information, properly requested for, properly released, in accordance with law and in good faith, the person releasing it cannot be criminally liable for the release. That's what this section is saying. And I think that is good to protect those that will be releasing information.
Are we together? Any more issues on 4?
Ma, please.
Yes.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, you made mention of these laws, certain laws being in existence, and one wouldn't even know if you don't have any interest in them. And that hammers on my point, because there could be a law, because what you referred to are regulations and bylaws. These are not acts of parliament. So there could be an act of parliament in this line of volumes, which somehow limits access to information and it's not covered. What would we do in that sense?
The Honorable Speaker, it's difficult to escape lawyers. We will use the interpretation rule. The latter in time is this legislation, so it will override still. I hope I convinced you now.
Not yet.
Thank
I will
you.
still make a proposal of my own.
We move ahead? Can we move forward? Yep.
Honorable Ma, can I please make a proposal of an amendment, if I'm allowed, of the...
On clause 4?
Yes, on clause 4.1.
Yes.
Thank you. My proposal is, instead of what we have, we go for, save for the Constitution, the provisions of this Act shall have an overriding effect over any inconsistent law or regulation, including the Official Secrets Act, general orders of the government, regulations and bylaws of any public body or any other provision in any other law establishing rules on secrecy. This is my proposal.
That's your proposal? Sorry, just a second. What do you want to see?
Okay. The subjecting of this legislation to the Constitution is an unnecessary emphasis. The Constitution is supreme. No legislation, whenever there is an inconsistency, we all know the Constitution will prevail. So that is a given. There is no point to repeat a given in the legislation. All right? So any other law, we believe at our level, at the technical level, we are more comfortable keeping it this way for now. This is a entirely new legislation. Upon implementation, probably if there is a need, we can look at it. But this is because we might have some legislations that are also protecting something very crucial. And you don't want to override all legislation at the word go. But we ensure that the Official Secrets Act, the general orders of government, and other regulations, for now, this is what we are comfortable with as the technicians at the ministry and other stakeholders. I understand your concern very, very well, but we are not very comfortable to be very sweeping at this takeoff stage.
Yes, Banjul sir. At one point, we have to take a decision.
Can I? Yeah, Madam Chair, can we include the Official Secret Act without knowing what the Official Secret Acts are? Because we've not seen it. I would be very uncomfortable. I've not seen, I don't know what the Official Secret Act is. Can I just pass it and not know? It's like I'm buying something that I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, so I might be, huh? I've not seen it. So I was expecting, unless if he tells me what the Official Secret Act is, because otherwise we might call, for example, I might call him and say, why did you do this? And he said, oh, it's official secret.
Respond to the question touching on the Official Secrets Act. It's in the laws of the Gambia anyway.
AG, let him just explain.
Let the Honorable Attorney General explain.
I don't even see much fear here, because the Official Secret Act is the act that draws the limits in government as to how to classify certain information as secret, and therefore their disclosure have to follow certain procedure, and others that are not classified as secret. Now, this legislation is overriding that legislation. So, for me, there is no cause for concern. It's saying, irrespective of that Official Secret Act, this legislation will override that as a general rule. So, there is no, even if you have you have never seen what the Official Secret Act is, we are saying this one is going to override it. So there is no much cause for concern in that regard.
There is, excuse me, there is cause for concern because we need to. We need to know these things. Even if there are not causes for concern, we need to know them. So that here we are discussing about laws, we are discussing about regulations, we are discussing about these materials, which we need to have ideas and information and knowledge about. We don't just get up and pass them. You see, that's why we have this controversy.
Honorable Speaker, if I may just help the Honorable Minister, I think I would side with them on this one, because these laws have been with us, and it is our responsibility to check everything they are referring to and what is in there. So I don't think ignorance of it would be an excuse at this point. I'm sorry.
Not the minister, but the ministry, and also the minister, who is fairly new. I think this document has been with us since
December 2019.
December 2019.
Yeah, and the
Is it?
committee did
And the committee met and deliberated on it and came out with, in fact, 2 reports. So really,
Madam Chair, we are going clause by clause.
No,
so
I'm coming, Honorable. I am just expressing my opinion.
Withdraw that because I am not ignorant.
No, I haven't. Please, can you? Nobody's saying that you will not have the floor. But at least let me land. You don't know what I am going to say. No, you don't know. Please, can I be heard? Lower Salum, please, can I be heard? What I just want to confirm is the fact that, please, Lower Salum and Banjul South, can we have one session? What I just want to confirm is that this Access to Information Bill has been with us since 2019. And I think in all fairness, we all had an opportunity to go through it, and it was referred to the committee, and the committee deliberated on it, tabled its report. Is it twice? Yes, we deliberated on the report, and I think made some amendments, which we are to probably validate again today. So really, if we want to go back to December 2019, it may, I don't know. I just don't know how it would work. Nobody is saying that issues shouldn't be raised. I mean, that's the essence of the committee stage. Let's raise issues, but then let it be something that will make us move forward. Yes, Willie is.
Yes, I think the clarification is clear. Can we move?
Madam Speaker, the clarification is clear, but even if I had seen it, like they said, we've had it since I am not a lawyer, I wouldn't have understood. So that was why I would still have asked that question. But the clarification from the minister is very clear now, so we can proceed. But I am not ignorant.
I don't know, but I think I will live a little bit above board and not engage in any dialogue. Please, can we proceed?
Clause
Thank
4.
you. No?
Clause 4.
No, the question hasn't been put yet.
No, then we will put the question.
Okay. Announce it then.
Yes. Clause 4. Act to have overriding effect.
Thank you. Clause 4. Act to have overriding effect. It is proposed that Clause 4, Act to have overriding effect, stands part of the bill as amended. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. So Clause 4, Act to have overriding effect, now stands part of the bill. Thank you. Can we proceed?
Clause 5. Act to bind the state.
Thank you. It is proposed that Clause 5, Act to bind the state, stands part of the bill. Before I put the question, any issues? Yes, Honorable Member for Basse.
Thank you very much. Honorable Chair, let the technicians help us to understand this. And let me call the attention of members. I had the opportunity to be in a training where the Honorable Minister was a trainer. And he did advise the lawmakers that be very careful if you are making law. Because at the end of the day, the magistrates deliver the decision of the court. They are not responsible for anything. But if they accuse them for any wickedness, they tell no, your lawmakers are wicked. So therefore, he's before us. Let us be very careful. Can he be able to explain this in detail so that we understand exactly in the law language what this means?
What are you referring to? Or what do you propose on Clause 5?
The act shall bind the state. What that means? From linguistic point of view.
Yes. You want it to be clarified?
Sorry, from their terminology.
Yes. I cannot do that. Thank you. Any more issues on Clause 5? Honorable members? Any issues, your Honorable Minister? He wants clarification.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Basse. It's like you're telling me what we are doing, you are the one who told us to do it. Okay, I appreciate that, and please do it well. This act shall bind the state. It has its literal meaning, that it is binding on the state as it is. I cannot say more than it's just literal. If you understand, do you understand the word binding when something is binding on somebody? Yeah, if you understand that, then that means it is binding. It is applicable to the state as well, because there are some legislations where it may not be applicable to the state. When you remember one of the bills that I was moving earlier on this afternoon, with respect to an amendment to the Labor Act, somebody said one of the concerns are the Labor Act is not applicable to government agencies. But in this case, we are allaying that fear. We are removing that doubt that this is applicable to the state. Yeah.
Yes, Clark.
Clause 5, Act to bind the state.
Thank you. It is proposed that Clause 5, Act to bind the state, stands part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Now, Clause 5, Act to bind the state, now stands part of the bill. Thank you.
We are moving to Part 2, Access to Information of Public Bodies. Clause 6, Duty to create, keep, organize, and maintain information.
Thank you. It is proposed that Clause 6, Duty to create, keep, organize, and maintain information, stands part of the bill. Do I allow honorable members time to read it? 3 minutes.
But are you making reference to the report as well?
Honorable members on the report as well.
Says anything about that?
You should guide us on the report. That you should guide the assembly on the report.
No, that section is, we are okay with it.
You are okay for the time? Yes. Can we take the issues then on clause 6? Any issues on clause 6? Or you need more time to read it? No? Everybody is satisfied? Are we? Yes, Lower Salum.
Yes, I stand to be corrected here. Part 2, that's access to information. Yes, I was checking on the heading there.
Yes, it's okay. Okay, go ahead.
Can I come over?
Yes, come.
Part 2, access to information of public bodies. And there, we already, there's a clause here, C, whereby private organization is included. So I was checking on the heading there.
No, I am not with you. I can understand. I did not get you.
Okay, it's
unless
all right.
if the Honorable Minister and team were able to capture your concern.
No, it's all right, it's all right.
It's okay. Thank you. Any more on Part 2, Clause 6?
Yes.
Yes, Abanju South. Clause 6, under Part 2.
Mine was under Part 1. Mine was under Part 1. It says every public body shall create, keep, organize, and maintain its information in a manner which facilitates access to information as provided in this Act. And I was just consulting with the Vice Chair because it is very difficult to get information. I can give an example from the government printers. If one should ask for a copy of the Gazette, it is not accessible. And this day and age, I think we should emphasize on on accessibility, because it should be easily accessible. We shouldn't just say which facilitates access to information. I think we should try and emphasize ways and means of facilitating how to get it, whether it is electronic or hard copies, because nowadays it's very difficult. You can be somewhere and have access and request for access.
So I take it that you have discussed with the Vice Chair and you have come to terms?
Yeah, but her concern actually...
It's still a proposal.
But her concern actually is covered in 2B, where it says arrange all information in its possession systematically in a manner that facilitates prompt and easy identification and access. I think her concern will be covered on if I understand her right.
Yes. All do you know?
Thank you, my concern has been addressed by Section 7 of the Act. Thank you.
When we say facilitate, we should emphasize on the means of facilitation. Yeah. That is Section 2, in a manner which facilitates. So it should further tell us the means of facilitating. Whether it's electronic, I think it should be emphasized in 1 as well.
Where do you want the electronic inserted?
Yes.
Where?
When it says which facilitates access, access how? Access, is it provided in the Act? But I said we should include electronic means in the Act then, so that it will be given electronically. It will be a law, because I know how difficult it is to access information in this country. We should...
And we allowed the Honorable Attorney General and team to come up with the language, but they would need to be guided by your proposal. Yes?
It is only in this country that we still depend on paper to access our budget, and that is public information. So we should emphasize electronic accessibility. It should be in the act.
Where we can insert that? Do you have any clause in mind?
Which facilitates electronic access to information or any other as provided in this act. We should put
on
electronic,
page?
yeah, on page 6.
Page?
6.
Page 6?
Yeah, electronic access, so that we will know that it has to be done electronically as well. Otherwise, we will just say, oh, the information is there.
Okay.
I think it would help if she reads the definition, the interpretation of information. It's already specified what is information. So do we have to go anywhere we see information, we repeat that whole long list? I don't think it's necessary. It's interpreted what information is in the interpretation clauses, and I think that suffices, ma'am. Go back and read.
That the interpretation of information,
yeah,
under the interpretation clause covers it.
Yes.
Is that what we are saying?
Yes.
Honorable. Okay. Yes, Basse?
Madam Chair, I think the member, I don't know whether the member has read it properly. Every public body shall create, keep, organize, and maintain its information in a manner which facilitates access to information in any manner, being electronic, being oral, or whatsoever, in a manner which facilitates access to information. So what more the member is proposing? It can be anything.
It should mention electronic so that they will know that it is the law, because it is very difficult to access information in this country. If we make it a law, because any manner that they deem fit, they might not do it electronically. We need information transformation electronically.
You're insisting on electronic. Yes, good. Let's take other views as well. Central Badibu.
What I want to put to the honorable member is that when you say electronic, it's not the only medium of accessing information. So it's going to limit us. So we have other areas. So I think I'm comfortable as it is.
No, honorable member for Banjul, sir, please. Sarekunda, you've made your point. You've taken it on board.
Yeah, honorable, I think it's just importing what people suggest. And it could be imported because if you see C, keep all information in its possession electronically, in good condition, and in a manner that preserves the safety and integrity of the contents. So we can put electronically, and it's left to the drafter to see whether it makes legal sense. So C can keep all information in its possession electronically in good condition and in any other manner that preserves the safety and integrity of the content. Go ahead. Go ahead and...
Birkama North. Oh, sorry, Gara West. Birkama North, I would suggest you go back to your seat. Yeah, social distancing.
Ma'am, here. I think I was about to ask for clarification. Maybe if the Honorable Minister could elaborate this phrase, a manner in which facilitate access to information can be very vague, but notwithstanding, I think trying to put electronic here will also make emphasis, or will also try to limit the manner now to electronic. Yeah, but in that context, the manner now would be limited to electronic. I think limited to electronic. But again, I want the minister to elaborate what this phrase, manner in which facilitates to information, because how the giver may put it in his or her own way, whether that will suit the one who is requesting the information to say that this is facilitating accessing that information.
And in previous bills at committee stage, we will raise our concerns, give our suggestions, and then allow them to come up with the technical input, proper drafting with the rules being respected, if I may use that word. So let's have somebody's raised her concern. She wants electronic included, supported by some other honorable members. Some are saying that no, it will still restrict it. Now, I'm sure the honorable minister has taken all those on board. So now he will come out with something that probably will be agreeable to all of us. Yes, Opasalu.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Chair. Now, if we go further in the bill on request for access, in fact, on the clause 5, is telling you that the C, just to make it short, that is page 10, that is, but no, further in the document. I think that should be, let me see, 13, sorry. No, 12, clause 12, a request for access. A request for access, clause 12. If you look at C, 5C, 5C is saying state the nature of the form in which the requester prefers access. I think this is very clear. If you prefer it in an electronic format, at the time of requesting, you tell that I want it in electronic format. If you want it in a hard copy, you tell I want it in hard copy. I think this makes it very clear. So it's up to the requester to state how or the form that you want it. I think this is really very clear. So
you have all the options before the honorable minister. Now, let him come up with something that can accommodate all views. Yeah, Woolley East.
Chair, the member is concerned about B, and I don't see any wrong when we say easy identification and access, including electronic form, and then we continue. So I think that will serve the purpose.
You know, what the drafters are refusing to do is to limit themselves to specificity.
Yes. But
if you say electrical, you are giving emphasis to, in fact, you are giving preference to that. And that's what the electronic is included in what they have already stated. It is there. It's not their word, but it is there. And so they don't want to open to give preference to one specific thing, but everything is included. That's what they want to draft. I think it's fine that way, because electronic is also in there. They refuse to be specific.
Yes, can you just help us to refer us to where the intention is?
The clause there, let's where
yes.
on B.
Just to confirm.
On C. You know, this is where the proposal being made, they should say electronically.
What page?
Page 4, page 7. Rather.
7.
Yes, paragraph C. Clause C. A, B, C. That's the last one of the...
Yes, keep all Is it keep all information in
keep
its
all info
possession?
in good condition and
its
in a
possession.
manner that preserve the safety and integrity of its contents.
You are saying that they haven't specified electronically. They have not used the word electronic.
They don't want to.
They don't want to use it.
It's all inclusive thing that they have put there. So we can limit ourselves to that.
Yeah, let's also ask the Honorable Minister to take that into consideration. Also take into consideration page 6 in a manner, and read it together. Yes, Serakunda.
Honorable Speaker, you know, I am behind the electronic times. So if I stand here and defend what she is saying, I think I should be listened to. Clearly, we are moving to that future. So the recommendation, Honorable Speaker, is this.
Honorable Member for Serakunda, I will make sure that I listen to everybody.
Thank you. So keep all information in its possession electronically in good condition or in any other manner that preserves the safety and integrity of the contents, or any other manner. It covers everything. Electronically, a specific emphasis, because that is the future.
That was why I said, let's take everything, that's your suggestion, that's us, somebody else, then we allow the Honorable Minister to come up with a sentence that captures everything. That was my proposal. Are we done with the proposals? No, your proposal has been captured by Honorable Member for Serakunda. Anything else? No? We're done. Okay, we give them time.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Fowulliwe said earlier in the day that he is not a drafter, but in this case, I think he's spoken the language of the drafters. There is a risk in trying to list when you're drafting. So you are better off leaving it open, and nobody can argue that something is excluded. Then you start listing, and then the argument in court will be, once you make a list, anything that is not in the list is deemed to be excluded. That's the legal interpretation in court. That's why drafters will, at most times, avoid listing when they draft. But also, the electronic position that we are even trying to push hard, data, even in electronic form, sometimes can be inaccessible. You can store data in some electronic form, but it's still not accessible to somebody who wants to access the data. You can encrypt it, those of you who know electronic a little bit. So it doesn't mean once it is electronic, it's accessible. Here, the emphasis is access. It's not, it says store it in any manner that will facilitate access. Whether you do it electronically, hard copy, whichever means you do it in a manner that will facilitate access. I think we are safer with that language than trying to put it electronically, because somebody can store data in electronic manner, but it is electronic, but in a manner that is not accessible. I'm not too sure, but this is our position. But the bill is before you.
Madam Chair, I think I still maintain that, because we all know how difficult it is to access information. I am a victim of that, and as we speak now, it is very difficult. And we all know that we are progressing. Everything eventually is going to have to be electronic. Madam Chair, even certain meetings now, they have to be electronic. So we must emphasize, when we say electronic, we are not limiting it to electronic only. Electronic and any other means. But the thing is, information should be for everybody. Whether you are here or not, if I am in Hong Kong and I need the information and it is here in your office, in a drawer, neatly filed, neatly done, safely kept in a safe, locked, how am I going to access it? You can scan it and send it, but you can refer me to a site. Everywhere in this world now, anything is electronic. Madam Speaker, even our DNA is stored electronically now. So I will stand by that. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, the danger is to continue to retain information in this Stone Age way, paper. Because if you say any manner, the state will just provide paper. Okay, electronically means that you are positioning the development of the country to move towards that as an emphasis or any other manner. So it means that any other manner covers if you cannot reach that level. But electronically is pushing you to move in that dimension. But, you know, it depends on consensus. Whatever we agree, if we want to remain in the Stone Age, we remain in the Stone Age. No problem.
Age or not is a decision of the National Assembly. You vote, I don't have a vote. Opesalum.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think we need to be a bit careful here, because if we specifically say electronic, we are actually imposing that that government institution needs to keep that data in electronic format. What that means is there are certain infrastructures that they need to have in their offices to be able to do that. You know, and these things are not cheap. Unless if we are ready to support them in the budget, for them to be able to buy all those equipment, they need to be able to do that. I'm fine with that. But we must remember that if we impose, we mean they will come back to us. You ask us to keep it in an electronic format, now give us the money to go do that. So if we are fine with that, it's okay. But I know it costs money to be able to do that. Even though we are progressing, in stages in the digital world, but I think that's also okay. But let's just remember, when they come back here and ask us for money to spend in that aspect, let's just think about what we are trying to do today. Thank you.
I'm not supporting either, but I know as a matter of fact that nowadays everything appears to be electronic. I'm just thinking aloud. I don't know. I don't know. I know the Honorable Deputy Speaker is not here, so it must be Central Badibu, because he sought permission to. Because somebody raised his tag.
Yes, okay. Thank you. I will not use the tag again. I will use my own tag. Madam Speaker, I think the reason why we don't want to put emphasis on the electronic version, if you look at our institutions now, I don't think we are much ready for that. And herein we are passing a law that we want the law to be effective as soon as possible. So if we put emphasis on that, Madam Speaker, to me, it's a denial of orders to have access. So, and I believe, we are not against technology, we are not against electronic, we don't want to go to the Stone Age. We want to move. But what we are saying now is we find ourselves in a situation, we want to open it up so that others can have access to it. So with time, if you move electronically, everybody will like to provide information electronically, obviously. So that's my observation.
You referred to the National Assembly in your intervention. Did you? Yes, you did. Yesterday, you received your order paper.
Yes.
Electronically, didn't you?
Yeah, all the time. You order
Am I right?
Yes, I didn't have network. I live in Jambur. I don't have network.
The office of the clerk will provide network for you. Yes, Cantora.
Mr. Speaker.
Can we make some progress?
Yes, in fact, that's what I want to even observe. I think the committee did give a report on this particular bill. So let's go look at the report, what the committee has recommended. If we feel otherwise, let's propose amendment. 2 hours ago on the same thing. Let's go on the committee report.
But you know that there was a proposed amendment, but the Honorable Attorney General has responded and given us the risk in the drafting risk, is it? Involved in listing. That if you list, it may be deemed to.
Yeah, but then the committee we have approved the committee report, this parliament.
But we can. guiding the committee stage here. The report is guiding, honorable members, please, one session. The report is guiding the committee stage. Yes, please. So you can make your, yes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think I agree with the proposal that we should make electronic mandatory. And the reason is if we want to move ahead and move towards the technology that we are facing now, it's important to make these things mandatory because we have experienced it in this National Assembly where someone said that his documents were filed with the government or given to government and all of them got lost and it couldn't be traced. If we make these things mandatory, government will be forced to have the infrastructure they need to store this information. I don't think anything can stop us from that. Government always has the budget of furnitures and fixtures. They can use that. We can change that and make them have electronics. I think it's important we make the electronic mandatory and have any other at the end. Thank you. So if we can put that to a vote.
I think we have spent enough time on this.
So we put on a vote.
And the honorable... It's almost 6 o'clock. So we have to suspend the committee stage and see if we are to move a motion to sit beyond 6 o'clock or otherwise. But just consider that we've not even gone halfway through this. Well, the motion, we cannot take the motion here. We cannot take the motion here. Yes, the assembly now resumes. It's getting to 6 o'clock, so can somebody move if we are to sit beyond 6 o'clock or whatever? Yes, Upper Salum.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to move a motion for the assembly to sit beyond 6 o'clock.
Any seconder? Yes, nominated member Seka.
Thank you, Chair. I rise to second the motion that we sit beyond 6 o'clock.
It has been moved and seconded that the assembly sits beyond 6 o'clock. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no.
No.
Then it seems the noes have it.
Then it means the noes have it, so the assembly... Yes, the noes have it. The assembly now then stands adjourned.
We'll have to adjourn we'll have to adjourn the session and then the committee stage will be scheduled later.
I'm afraid we will just have to adjourn the session. The sit, yes.
At 6 o'clock.
At 6 o'clock, and then the committee stage will resume, will be rescheduled, maybe during the course of the week or early next week. Thank you.
Six minutes to 6.
We'll continue till 6 o'clock. Yes? No, I have 6 minutes. We're using the speaker's time. It's 6 minutes. So where were we? We're still on the issue of can we take a decision on this electronic? We vote. Well, the amendment is to include electronic. Is it? Yes. Is that the proposal?
Yes, can we be clear? The initial comment made by Banjul South was on clause 6.1, right? It says every public body shall create, keep, organize, and maintain its information in a manner which facilitates access to information. That is where she was requesting that we insert electronic and then any order. Is that right? That is what was on the floor. So I don't know whether that has changed to something bigger, and because we need to follow to see what are we actually changing.
Honorable Speaker.
Mister? Your mic. No, please, let's know what we are amending. If any honorable member has an amendment to that, can it be read so that we will know what we are amending, the proposed amendment, so that the honorable minister can comment? And let's hurry up, it's getting to 6 o'clock. Yes?
Every public body shall create, keep, organize, and maintain its information in a manner which facilitates electronic accessibility to information and any order. Electronically and any order. No, electronically. It has to be electronic. Electronic must be there.
Proposal. There was another, honorable.
Electronically.
Let me just guide you. That was your proposal on the 6th.
Yes.
Yes. There was another proposal by honorable member for Serekunda on the C. Am I right? Yes, am I right, honorable member for Serekunda?
To clarify, I guess
that there was a proposal.
Precisely.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yes, that's precisely what but the Honorable Attorney General is now saying that what was originally proposed dealt with clause 6.1, paragraph 1. That's what he is focusing on.
No, he is asking.
He's asking.
On the floor.
Well, for me, my focus is on C.
Yes, I think the essence is to ensure that the word electronic is captured in the bill.
And it's C.
Whether it's in 6 or was it 6? Whether it's in 6.1
or 6.2C.
But the essence is to capture it.
Thank you.
That is the general.
And my proposal then, Honorable Speaker, is keep all information in its possession in an electronic manner in good condition or in any other manner that preserves the safety and integrity of the contents. So the issue of excluding any other manner, if you don't have the capacity, is not there. It means that electronic is the focus, but if you have not reached that level, you can still deal with any other manner.
Yes, may I comment then? Basse, what do you want to say?
Proposing amendment. Every public body shall create, keep, organize, and maintain its information in a manner which facilitates access to information, such as use of modern technology as provided in this act.
Please. Yes. Can I come in? I think what I want to propose is for the team to capture, Honorable Salah's version.
Electronic.
Also capture Honorable Ngai's version. Since we are going to adjourn, come back and see where you can fit it in, whether on the C, as suggested by Serekunda, or on the 6.1 as suggested by Honorable Guy.
Ma.
But the essence is just to capture, if I get it right, to include electronic version
Make it mandatory.
and any other manner or in any other manner.
Ma,
Yeah, yes.
I think time is our
Time is up.
Yes, I know time is our greatest enemy. Now, if you give the minister the room to go and look at both submissions made by the two, many members make different submissions. I think all the submissions should be collected together.
But the session is the consideration stage. Will just
That's why I'm putting to you, we put it to vote. Before
we cannot take a vote. If you have a suggestion, give it out, and that will also be considered.
Honorable Speaker.
Then when we come back, we'll take a vote on all of them.
Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair.
Time is
Yes,
up.
I know. But what I'm saying, you see, not everybody is an expert in drafting these things. We must not lose sight of that. And it's not every member wanting to see my comment factored in a legislation. And I'm proposing that let's us keep it the way it is. Please, and if you have otherwise, let's put it to vote.
Yes. No. Yes.
We don't have any authority to sit. We're going upstairs and adjourn the session.
It's illegal.
We
It's
will
not captured.
come back. 6 and we'll come back.
Thank you.
Honorable members, the assembly now stands adjourned till tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Thank you. Yeah, the business of the day for tomorrow will be rescheduled at a later date. Either continuation tomorrow or... Yes, we resume tomorrow. You already have your order paper for tomorrow.
You need to come here. Huh?
Nyato?
Yeah.
You can take your piece. You can just come here, it's fine. This will be very fast, just come. No, here.
Wait, I don't know what this
No, they are not going to buy.
Okay. What is this? Paradise?
Of course, mbadingolala baraka bakele, of course, proceeding chele miyalon ka tata nyame bi National Assembly to jang access to information bill nye miyalon ko ba kacha kan non jambi akam tele ko ya ajon ne koteke ka bring December 2019 ne nying bill of course nati National Assembly to jang ali alon ne initiate non ka bring 2016 ya initiate pour ka jiko don information o sotonya Gambia banko kan jang asisonia no nyame but still now akam tele ko abe National Assembly to andong right now tending ya ajon ne koteke of course civil society la chairman not le belor intended na media mula angale kan wala because wala may bake what did you make of this of course proceeding today?
Well, I think we are very elated as civil society that the former Justice Minister has kept his word to bring this bill to the Assembly, and the initiation of the bill came from civil society, and we commend the government for opening up this space. Both the Ministry of Justice and the Ministry of Information and Communications for giving us the space to be able to do this together. And to also the National Assembly members for doing a good job in deliberating upon this.
It's like it's adjourned again, and this was brought here since December 2019. Don't you think the process is too slow?
Well, I would rather that it is slow and thorough, that it is fast and they brush through it. So I would commend the Assembly. Let them go through it and do a thorough job. And at the end of the day, we want the best for the Gambia.
We understand that 90% of the countries in the world are having these laws in their country. Gambia is unlucky to be one of the 10% that are not having these laws. What does this mean for the Gambia?
I think this is a very, it's good that we are coming late, but then it is also phenomenal that this Gambia's bill is a participation of civil society and the government working hand in hand to bring it to pass. So I think we are coming late, but I think he that laughs last will laugh the best. We will have one of the best bills of freedom of information, I believe, by the time we are ready.
What did you observe in today's proceedings? Did you observe anything that you don't like?
Well, no, I think I really appreciate the members of parliament taking time to go through every clause, to go through doing a proper scrutiny of the bill before it becomes law. And I think this is what we expect of our representatives.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Of course, ala barka baki mbadi ngol of course mo be Kerr Fatou jibe kan tembe na ngal tentu kali jay baki mo be Kerr Fatou jibe kan of course nga ñine sotale bi kabe National Assembly di jajeufal kep ko xamne ya nge setan of course access to information bill bo xamne of course ñu ko don hol fi ni té ci National Assembly dañ ko adjonat so len fatale ke li ñu ko initiate on since 2016 waye dañ ko issue on of course December 2019 la National Assembly members start di ko hol waye dafa melni tétame dañ ko adjonat ñen chamina kala ngondo definitely darde Kerr Fatou all time ni access to information bill o hande o addanoma National Assembly pour be mbakta e kulema ko kono unfortunately be mbadi adjon o ko bill mo ngannantuma o addanoma do bila December 2019 o addano do kono ha joni na wayno kulle de jahanta be mbadi adjon kadi kono kala no way fof min of course min garna don do min kala na don kala no kulle de mbayri fof so ngal tentukal jey baki mo be Kerr Fatou jube kan no ngani ne sotale no anal badi malem non te buba gaji go aning of course Omar Ndaw na cameraman ala barka.
Love like fire. Wow. Love like fire. Xam ngeen rek affaire bi xam ngeen fan la? Skincare la. 2020 lañ wax de. Waaw. Fii nag mooy Kerr fan Kerr zero tache. Perfect skin. Skincare saa su ne rek niñ ko dee defee rek. Loo lañ soxlaati rek. Maanaam bu ngeen am problème ci seen skin yéen xam ngeen fan la fii ngeen di ñëw suma xarit yeeg am di jaama yi nga xam ne taas daf lañ sonaloon xam nga doon xeesal ba la ka xum éneew ma lañ ko nag waaye just in case comme ni ko gars yi defee rek en cas just in case loolu xew xam ngeen fi ngeen di ñëw fii ngeen di ñëw Skincare Plus si yu baax rek la ñoo dox nag ay baax rek fu ne la ñoo dem ci réew mi di lañ indi rek nag products yu baax du Paris du Italie du USA du fi mu nekk nii sax boole nañ ci nag Sweden fu nekk lañ leen a indilee products bu dee tamit nag da nga ñuul rek ñu lay jamaa natural beauty that melanin dripping we do have stuff for you as well emuñ si skincare products rek ñu ngi ci cuub yi tamit fu ne la ñoo jaar in fact sax last commercial bi ñu defoon waxuñ leen woon ne dañoo dox ci ay kawar 9A grade rek nag waaw we do have bundles as well hair si lu ne la ñoo dox ñun ñu ngi ci rafetal jigéen rek luy taaral jigéen rek waaw boo leen di tukki tamit bëggoon that classic suitcase ñu dañoo dox ci ay Samsonite duñ dee indi any brand of suitcases though other than Samsonite comme li ma dee wax rek boo eggee airport dëri Samsonite dafa am nuñ laa xoolee waaw ngeen ne lan nag waaw skin ci moom la ñu gën a xamee nag skin care products ci moom la ñu gën a xamee ñu ngi dox tamit bentee tamit si ay dàlla man waaye man nag skin care mooy suma specialty xam nga rek jigéen bu sa xar kanam réglé loo def mu jag am nañ Patricia Reiner, Kiwi Eye, the whole range, Lighten Up Gold, Tomatine. I mean, the list can just go on and on and on and on. Lépp loo xam ne rek luy taaral jigéen la ci yooyu rek la ñoo dox. Skincare plus nag emuñ si Gambia rek ñu ngi United States ñu ngi Gambia fii ba pare bu dee yaa ngi anywhere in Europe mun nañ la ko mail within 3 days rek ñetti fan rek nga jot say diw emuñ si loolu rek dañ laa consult tamit balaa ñu laa jaay diw dinañ def a free consultation pour wax la rek exactly li nga xam ne moo méngoo ak sa kanam dinañ leen wax tamit ne rek am nañ perfumes, you know, fragrances, men's shirts, accessories. We do dresses as well. We do blouses. I mean, we do shoes. Name it, we do them. Skincare Plus 2020 is our year of perfection. Zero task. Fi mu nekk nii réew mi fii kenn waratu fi task. Kenn waratu fi am problème kanam. Kenn waratu